Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Master Teacher Serene. This channel is for educational purposes. Recently we had a video about Asian women being the most desirable women by men in the world nowadays. Today I'm going to dig down into it to get to discover what really happened in those relationships. Some relationship last long, some relationship don't. Most of the time there are kind of internal problems in there. And today we're going to dig down into those problems and probably satisfy your curiosity. We've got a guest around that is curious about the Asian life. Please ask your questions and I'm going to try to answer to the best of my ability. Right.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I have some couple of questions I would like to ask. My first question will be on stress.
Okay.
I heard Asian women are so stressful. Is it true?
Well, you mean stressing the man
Yeah.
in the relationship?
Yeah.
Well, I believe to a certain extent that is completely true. I'll give you a couple of examples. I had a friend that we used to be very close, and he used to be the type of person that would take holidays, right, like, and travel to a different country by himself because he's used to be independent. Yeah, so that friend of mine was married to an Asian woman, and he decided to go on a long vacation that was pretty much a couple of weeks, pretty much like 1 month. He went back to his country. By the time he was back, things had changed. He noticed that the wife wasn't there no more. Not only that, the bills that he actually thought maybe because the wife was still there could have paid, the bills were waiting for him, and it was pretty much stressful. He could call us and talk to us about the whole situation, ask to borrow some money from us and all that, but like it was a very stressful situation. Not only that, he tried to call the wife. The wife was like, you know what, it's over, goodbye for now. The relationship has expired. It was too long, your kind of holiday. So these are some of the things that I would say is really stressful if you live it to know it. One of like the other situation that I can tell you about what happened and what I've seen or experienced is that whenever you get into trouble with Asian women, you will notice that, for example, let's say you get into a very serious trouble where maybe the police or the law could be kind of involved. So let's say if the wife is aware of that, you might, you know, discover that she must show up when you need her, when you are in need. She must show up with the documents to divorce. And that will be kind of hurtful. I wonder if that would be love or if you would cry or you would laugh about it. But these are some of the things that could stress you because at that moment when you are at your low level, you might need help. You might need more support from an Asian point of view because they also don't like stress. They might look at it as stressful to them because you are a burden to handle or you are a complication. So they might just want to give up on you or yeah. So it's some of the things that could really stress your life because you really cannot rely 100% on the Asian way of looking at life or sort of person that you would think maybe something that if something goes wrong and then you'll be okay with that. It might be more stressful to you because you better be prepared. If you're not prepared for certain eventuality about things not going well, you will be under a lot of stress. Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about getting into trouble, like being arrested.
Mhm.
But what about if you don't get arrested or you don't get into trouble? Do you
Okay.
have good parts in getting involved in relationship with Asian?
Well, if everything is all happy, like a honeymoon stage in a marriage, There could be differences in the way life happens for everyone. Let's take a case where the woman that you're getting married to was working before, but the time you get married to her, she decides to stop working because maybe she doesn't feel like working anymore because she got married and it's like an achievement. So you got to pay her taxes, you got to pay like a sort of, yeah, you got to make a salary for her every month, you got to pay her bills, and they do extra shopping most of the time. It's kind of wickedness, I would say. But like you would see a lot of married women, if they're married to a person that is doing well in life, and they squeeze everything from you, and yeah, that could be quite stressful at some point. Yeah.
I see. Thank you. So, okay, we move to the next question.
Okay.
Yeah, I have this worry also about loyalty. I heard Asian women are not that loyal. Is that true?
Well, I would say that they are not loyal, you know, in general, but it's not really about loyalty, it's about lack of opportunities. But they are not loyal, to be honest. What happens is that sometimes when you, as a foreigner, you introduce your foreign friends to your family, to your wife, they might end up going around and tasting every one of them or sleeping around with every one of them. And at this point, you know, it might lead to infidelity. So the best way to go about this question, I think, as an advice on a personal level, is to be able to protect your family, to not expose your wife to, you know, certain people, certain foreign places or environment that you think is dangerous for you and your family. That's pretty much it that I can say about this question.
Okay, my next question will be on intimacy.
Okay.
I heard after giving birth, there's lack of intimacy in the couple. Is it true?
Yes, that's totally true. Culturally, as you mentioned, there are a lot of, or if not to say the majority, of couples, whenever they give birth, on the woman's side, they would separate rooms. The husband will be living upstairs, the woman and the child will be living downstairs. And not only that, even when the child grows, it gets a little bit difficult for the couple to get the moment of intimacy. They would prefer to go to hotels and all that. But this also happened even among the Asians themselves. It's very much part of their culture. So yeah, I think it's just their culture that is like that. But from where we come from, it's difficult to understand because we don't do it that way. From my culture, for example, when a woman is pregnant and when she delivers, it's the same. You all can still live in the same room, share the same intimacy kind of level, but you'll be there to support her. But maybe there is another deep explanation to that behind closed doors. But yeah, it's a cultural thinking that happens here in Asia, that you need to separate rooms and all that after giving birth. No intimacy anymore. It's true. All right.
Yeah, let's move to the fourth question.
Okay.
In terms of money, how does it work in the relationship with an Asian?
Well, there are different angles to that. I'll give you two testimonies of my friends that have been into this, but in a different way. The first one is from Mali. This friend of mine, basically, they had a relationship for like 2 months with an Asian woman, and then right after that 2 months, they got married straight. So the courtship was very short, and maybe they didn't have much time to really discover one another, so or each other. So the thing is that in the marriage, I mean the first week, second week, he started to discover that the woman tried to take control over his financial, endeavors. So basically, the woman wanted him to, after perceiving the salary, for him to give it to the woman straight, and then the woman will be able to plan, because here in Asia, women are more dominant. So your salary goes to her, everything you do goes to her. So yeah, that's what he was trying to fight. But he's the type of man that is more into peace then, so he decided to just let it go, and that's how it worked. But we got to discover that, because as friends we used to chill, we used to go out together, hang out, and sometimes he would now say, he can make it, or he doesn't, or he can't, because the wife is didn't say that he can go out, right? Or because he doesn't have money, but meanwhile he's working, he's got more money than the wife, because the wife gives him what he has to spend for the day. Like, if the wife gives him 500, let's say you got to pay some bread with it and all that for breakfast, that's it for you, and then come back home. That was it for him. So he didn't have any extra money to spend on a beer or anything of the kind to chill with friends. That was pretty much it for him. And for another friend that is from Nigeria, he didn't go the same way. So the friend actually, he was more like, he took his time to set the rules, set the foundation, set the vision for the family, set all the things before the marriage. So it went to a point where, because of their culture, so they would want to be dominant, but because that friend of mine also was very dominant, so he was like, you know what, it's either this or that, but we don't move forward before we can fix this one. So everything was on point before they could get married. So after the marriage, things were pretty much the same. There was not so many surprises in the end. So he could control his finances. He could even travel. He can go for holidays. He can go for anything he wants. So he comes back home. The family is still together. So because he had control over the family. So it depends really on who you're dealing with and the kind of measures you take from the start with the woman. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now we are moving to our last question.
Okay.
Okay, after all what has been said, is there a way out for you and your children if it doesn't work well with your Asian wife?
Well, I think if it doesn't work out between you and your Asian wife or husband, there's no way out for you to kind of do whatever you want to do with the children. You must find a way to find a consensus between you and your Asian family. If it doesn't happen that way, what will happen is that you're either going to lose the ownership of the child, because you might be kicked out of the family. And not only that, I've heard stories, like, for example, if you try to you believe that, okay, this culture or these experiences is not what you want your children to be living, so you want to take them out of the Asian continent for them to experience new things, but you don't have a very good relationship with the mother or the father, and you're doing it on your personal level. There's no way you can do it that way, even if you are financially stable, because in Asia they have a way to control things, especially on the women's side. They can even take the ownership of the child from you. They can, you become a nobody to the child. Like, you come in front of the law, you don't have any right on the child, because they take it out of you. The moment you want to compete with them, you want to show them that, you know what, I am the father, I'm this and that, like, it might never work. So the best thing you would do, in terms of, if you think you have a better future for your children, or you want them to experience better things, is for you to be able to kind of just cope with the family you have. Please them as much as you can. Manage to get their permission to move out of the country, move out of the continent, and then you okay. But if you show them that you are not into, or you have contradictions with the in-laws, and you just want to do it on your own because it's your child. Imagine, as a father, in the Western world, the father has a lot to say about the child. But here in Asia, you don't have to. And you don't have much to say as well, because they can take the ownership of the child from you. So the best you could do is just to follow along. And if the wife is still in love with you at that point, you can go with her, with their permission, move to a different country because you plan that together. And most of the time, they don't want to leave their country unless they've been abroad before, so it's a bit tedious. So you just go ahead about it, but be smart enough to not give your position that, oh, you know what, like, because he's not working with us and I want to take the child. You might lose the child instead. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
so that was all for today. All right, that was very interesting. Thanks for all your questions. It was amazing. I hope we can have another discussion some other days. If you have anything on the comments, please drop your comments below. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching once again. Goodbye. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from.